Hey everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. We're going to take a look at something pretty cool today. We're going to look at the Benchmade Gold Class Tengu. Now this was a collaboration with Jared Osier. He is a very popular maker out of Utah, who I used to live very close to and was going to do a video with at one point in time, but alas, things didn't work out. Anyhow, this is a collaboration with Jared Osier, and it is based on his custom model, the Tengu, and of course this is the Benchmade Gold Class version. So first, what is Gold Class? From Benchmade, Gold Class really is kind of their peak limited edition type of knives. They'll throw the kind of the craziest materials. Apparently they have their best kind of craftsmen work on these, but this is really kind of the top in terms of what comes out of Benchmade Knife Company, and it's really geared towards the collectors. So, you know, this knife does exist in a non-gold class version with like S30V and just like black G10 handles, but obviously this one's been taken to the nines. So let's take a look at this one a little bit closer. First, let me show you guys what it ships with. It is in a gold box instead of the standard blue box. I don't have one near me, but again, you guys have probably seen quite a few of them. There's the model number. There's really nothing kind of special inside. Well, hold on, I'll take that back. You just get your standard foam and, you know, your warning card. But one thing that is a little different inside is this certificate of authenticity that's, you know, hand filled out and signed. It does have the model number, and it goes over all the materials that are used in the knife. So that's what that looks like. Pretty cool. It's a nice touch. Again, obviously this is a very expensive knife, so it's nice to get a few nice touches. The knife is a flipper and a liner lock, and it doesn't have a pocket clip, so the sheath that ships with the knife is obviously quite important. This is actually made out of shark skin, and you can tell that it feels different from standard leather. Again, just kind of a really cool addition to a very cool knife. Sitting here next to my Damasteel everyday carry pen from Benchmade. They discontinued these a couple of years ago, unfortunately. Alas, let's get into kind of the specs on this one. I'm showing you guys most of what it ships with, but this is certainly a smaller knife. Let's put it up against their ever popular bug out version. This is not the mini bug out, this is the standard bug out. And then let's bring in the Kershaw dividend as well. So as you guys can see, I mean, these are two fairly small knives, and this thing's a little bit smaller. Blade length of about 2.77, handle 3.85, total just about 6.6 inches. Blade thickness is about 0.12 inches thick, and then the handle is a little bit under half an inch thick here. Thickness behind the edge with my calipers came in about 0.27 or 0.027, so a little bit thicker than like a Para 2, and then the tip is definitely reinforced. It's quite thick behind the tip, like 0.07, very, very thick. So, you know, certainly gives some utility to the smaller knife. You shouldn't be afraid about damaging that tip as long as you're not doing anything too crazy with it. But there it is, kind of with a size comparison. Let's go over the materials on this thing, since again it is a little bit special in that regard. So apparently there was a theme for this knife, and it is winter. It was some sort of winter according to their promotional video. So it does use Bifrost Damasteel, white and black carbon fiber inlaid with a blue G10 shield, and then all the hardware is, as far as my understanding, stainless steel, but they have coated it with sapphire blue PVD, coating. So that's where you get the blue all throughout, including the liners. This back spacer is a really, really interesting material, and hopefully the light's hitting it just right. But it is, according to this card here, it is a Raphir UV reactant SFX blue uranium with embedded brass mesh backspacer. I don't really know what to tell you as far as what that really is, but this is what it looks like, and it looks really cool. Again, thematically, it's kind of going for that dark and harsh winter look. As you guys can see, again, it's a liner lock and it is a flipper. and there's no pocket clip. So as I mentioned before, this sheath is actually quite important if you do want to carry this thing, and I'd assume that there is one correct way to put the knife in, and it should be this way since there's a spot left here for the flipper tab. But it carries very well, and the sheath broke in nicely as well just after a few carries. So it's centered, the action's quite good. Does run on bearings, of course, as you guys can see right here. So, you know, kind of what is this knife? Again, this is more of a collector piece. This is a limited edition. This is something unique and interesting that they do with materials that are just a little bit out there, and I find that really exciting. One of my other favorite companies that is a competitor of Benchmade, namely ZT, they were doing a ton of really cool limited edition offerings, but I guess they're too busy or they don't have the production capacity to do them right now. So I'm just excited to see something limited edition coming from these production companies. And if you look at this and think, you know, this is a little too much for me, or a little too absurd, or too colorful, or just too much, you can go with the standard version that's significantly less expensive. So, you know, from a price standpoint, this is $550. It's going to be, no matter where you go, it's going to be $550. If you were to go with the standard version that's just like S30V and G10, that's like $187 at dealers. So, you know, quite a bit more affordable. Although kind of an odd discussion here, but this is the most affordable Benchmade Gold Class that I have ever seen. And I think the reason for that is because this is a Gold Class, but it is not a limited production Gold Class, meaning as long as it continues to sell, they'll arguably continue to make more of them until basically sales drop and they drop the product. A lot of the other Gold Class models that have come out up to this point have been limited production Gold Class, meaning they make only a specific number and then they're done. And, you know, Gold Class typically is, you know, approaching or above like $1,000. They're very, very expensive. So kind of funny, this being $550 is the most affordable Gold Class that I can recall. I haven't had a lot of experience with Gold Class prior to this one, but when I was at Blade Show 2019, I did have the opportunity to handle the Gold Class proper, which is their little kind of slip joint, and it was incredibly nice. I was really, really impressed with whoever had made that one, and from my conversation, what I recall talking to the reps at the time, some of the craftsmen or the quote-unquote, you know, knife makers that work at Benchmade certainly have the capabilities to be out there producing $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 custom knives if they so choose to. Now, kind of along those lines, well, why wouldn't they be out there making custom knives on their own? And, you know, having talked to a lot of custom knife makers over the years, when you're out on your own, your customer service, your warranty, your sales, your social media, your this and that, that and this, you're your own boss, you're in charge of insurance, shipping, I mean, just you have to deal with everything. For some people, they would much rather just go to a 9 to 5, even though they have that unique skill set, and just focus on one thing, not have to deal with people, have insurance, maybe a 401k, and the rest is someone else's problem. So, you know, again, when they say they have some really exceptional craftsmen, and that's who supposedly work on the Gold Class, I would believe it, because the fit and finish is really nice on this one. Liner lock is maybe a little bit difficult to get to. They did incorporate some texture here, but you know, it's fairly well recessed. I mean, it's not super difficult, but a little bit. Action is really nice. There's no jimping here on the flipper tab, but the way it's cut out and kind of that angle allows for a really nice kind of push button. So this for me is going to be one that's really nice for the office when I will be back in the office soon as COVID kind of winds down here. But, you know, just kind of in the slip joint here or in the slip, and if I need it, I can pull it out and grab it. Now again, as far as it being like the perfect everyday carry, certainly not. Something with a pocket clip and, you know, one hand open, one hand closed, pretty easy, like the Bug Out here would honestly be a much better choice, especially at the price point. But if you want something unique and interesting and you're okay carrying, you know, this really cool slip to put it in, then this one might be for you. Again, ton of knives just within Benchmade's lineup if you don't like this one or don't want this one. But I'm just glad to see something limited edition come out these days, because It's been kind of a little barren out there. But anyways, thanks so much for watching. Comments, questions, let me know. Daily content on Instagram if you don't already follow me there, and I will see you guys on the next video. Take care.